What is up, guys? Collected Miscellany Part 2. Starting off with Kuching. No time to waste. We're just getting into it.
Everyone in Liyue knows it is Rex Lapis who protects their borders. But the city's daily affairs are run by the Qixing. As Yuheng of the Qixing, Kuching acts decisively and pragmatically, knowing every inch of Liyue like the back of her hand. Yet as a representative of the mortals of Liyue, she has much to say about Rex Lapis's unilateral governance.
Okay.
We live in an era of change, as the old order that has existed for 1,000 years is about to be rewritten.
Within the Qixing, Kuching is one for action. Ruthless efficiency is her modus operandi. Like her personality, her sword work is both swift and uncompromising.
Whoa,
This,
that's pretty
along
cool.
with her control of Electro, brings a shockingly abrupt end to any enemy.
Dude, that's...
Kuching could not be more familiar with Liyue.
Okay, right off the bat, it's fucking cool, man. She does, like, she puts out the thing that you could, like, teleport to. That's in Inazuma, is what it looked like. I don't know how that works, but then that elemental burst is fucking... It's on some anime shit.
Even on long journeys, she always finds a swift route back home. If dispatched on an expedition in Liyue, she will complete it more quickly than most.
Okay. Only in Liyue.
Kuching can unleash a combo of up to 5 normal attacks, her final strike allowing her to pass through enemies.
That's fucking cool, too.
Yunlai swordsmanship is both offensive and defensive, offering a way to dodge some attacks and strike back from a better angle. Hold the attack button to consume stamina, and release a 2/ flurry, dealing high physical damage. Tap Kuching's elemental skill Stellar Restoration to throw a lightning stiletto, which deals electro damage to enemies in a small area upon impact, and leaves behind a lightning stiletto marker. If Kuching uses Stellar Restoration again while the marker is still present,
Yeah,
she
dude.
flies to the marker and performs a quick slash.
That's pretty
dealing
fucking
electro
cool.
AoE damage.
That's fucking cool.
Holding Stellar Restoration allows Kuching to aim the lightning stiletto before releasing it. Adept use of the lightning stiletto produces various results. With the lightning stiletto, Kuching can flash into battle and attack from the best position. The lightning
Nice.
stiletto can also be used in exploration to navigate challenging terrain. Kuching can also clear the lightning stiletto with a charged attack, causing a slashing thunderstorm that deals electro AoE damage at its location.
That's pretty cool, too.
Deft use of this skill allows Kuching to creatively deal ranged damage. After unlocking the talent Thundering Penance,
That's what I like about her so far, is that you can, like, there's creative ways to use her offensive abilities. Do you know what I mean? And it's cool because they're not just, like, it's not just utility based, it's also offensive, like an offense, you know what I mean? So that's, I like that.
using Stellar Restoration while the lightning stiletto is present, converts Kuching's normal and charged attacks to electro damage for a short time.
Cut to the chase!
Kuching unleashes her electro power, causing electro AoE damage. Hiding behind the shadow of her sword, she relentlessly slashes surrounding enemies at lightning speed,
Yeah, that's cool.
dealing multiple rounds of damage, with a final burst of electro AoE damage at the end. After unlocking the talent Aristocratic Dignity, casting Starward Sword increases Kuching's crit rate and energy recharge for a period of time.
Okay.
Light on her feet and leaving no shadow, Kuching is a sharp addition to any team. Groups of enemies or single opponents are no match for a well-executed combination of her skills. Kuching cuts them all down with ease. The key to combat with Kuching is mastery of the lightning stiletto.
Yeah.
First, use her elemental skill to place the stiletto. Then, use her elemental skill again to zip into battle and strike quickly. Follow up with more electro damage, using her elemental skill to suppress the enemy. and continue to use the lightning stiletto at opportune moments to frequently move and attack. Keep up the offensive to rapidly accumulate energy. Once full, it is time to unleash Starward Sword and bring the fight to a perfect end.
Yeah.
Human history
Yeah, she's
is
pretty
to
cool.
be
She's
written
pretty cool.
by the people.
Yeah, she seems pretty cool. You know, for an Electro character, it seems like she's got a smoothness to her, which I don't think in the Electro characters that I've played so far, they feel kind of clunky and you know what I mean. So, she seems pretty cool. Next is Child.
The Fatui from Snezhnaya are known to make waves wherever they go in Tevat, and Tartaglia is a driving force within them. Of the 11 Harbingers, 10 concern themselves with clandestine operations. Tartaglia is the sole exception. Rather than lure his enemies into a trap, he prefers to face them head-on in one-on-one combat.
The wind is picking up. There's conflict in the air.
His reputation precedes him. Child is known far and wide as a fearsome warrior, well-versed in a variety of fighting forms. He can switch stances at will, and has 2 distinct modes of attack at his disposal.
That's fucking cool.
When
Man.
Tartaglia is in your party, all characters' normal attacks gain 1 level, dealing increased damage as a result.
Wait, what?
Tartaglia is weakest with a bow, so he chooses to use one precisely to overcome this weakness. His normal attack can combo up to 6 consecutive shots. Charging the attack executes a more precise shot that deals increased damage. While aiming...
Wait, but if I have this motherfucker in my party, the talents are a higher level? Is it the base attack? Like the base?
Dealing increased damage
talent?
as a result.
Yeah, the base normal attack is up by 1 level. Still, that's pretty fucking cool.
Increased damage. While aiming, hydro energy accumulates on the arrowhead. A fully charged arrow will deal hydro damage to enemies on impact, and also apply the Riptide status to them.
Riptide.
When an enemy is affected by Riptide, further hits from Tartaglia's fully charged arrows deal multiple bouts of area of effect hydro damage.
Yeah, okay, that's okay.
Also, when Tartaglia defeats an enemy affected by Riptide, it causes a Hydro Burst, which applies the Riptide status to nearby enemies.
That's better. That's way
Unlocking the
better.
talent Never Ending extends the duration of Riptide. Faced with a strong foe, Tartaglia will reveal his true might.
Oh, he's got 2 of
When
them?
he casts his elemental skill, he summons weaponry fashioned from
shit.
pure hydro, dealing hydro damage to surrounding enemies in the process, and also switches to his melee stance. In this stance, his normal attack now combos up to 6 consecutive hydro slashes. Charging the attack consumes stamina and releases a 2-slash flurry, dealing hydro damage.
Yo, I like
In
the
melee
2 swords.
stance, when Tartaglia strikes an enemy affected by Riptide, he deals area of effect hydro damage. Tartaglia exits melee stance when his elemental skill is cast again, or after a certain time has elapsed. He then returns to his ranged stance, and his elemental skill enters cooldown. The longer Tartaglia spends in melee stance, the longer the cooldown time. After unlocking the talent Sword of Torrents, when in melee stance, if Tartaglia deals a critical hit, the Riptide status is applied to the enemy.
Nice.
Depending on Tartaglia's stance, his elemental burst will unleash one of 2 different attacks.
Okay.
Riptide!
In ranged stance, Tartaglia swiftly fires a hydro-imbued magic arrow ahead of him, which deals area of effect hydro damage, and also applies the Riptide status to enemies. Afterwards, Tartaglia regains some of his spent energy.
Shouldn't let your guard down.
In melee stance, Tartaglia performs a slashing attack with a wide area of effect, dealing substantial hydro damage to all surrounding enemies. And if the elemental burst hits an enemy affected by Riptide, The Riptide effect will be consumed in a hydro explosion, which deals area of effect hydro damage.
It's pretty cool.
Tartaglia is a formidable warrior who lives for the heat of battle. He chooses his moments to attack and retreat, and is tactical when selecting his mode of attack. This is what makes him so powerful.
Yeah, but okay, so here's my issue, right? It's like you get him and he's an archer. He's a ranged player, right? That's the weapon that you have to equip to him and upgrade. So he's essentially an archer. And then switching his stance, he just makes these weapons out of hydro and uses those. And then but there's also, from the sounds of it, it sounds like there's a downside to him being in melee stance, right? The longer you're in it, the longer there's a cooldown for it. I personally would just like him to be a melee character. I think that's way fucking cooler, but I mean, that's my only issue. But other than that, he seems fucking cool, man. He seems like the two sword thing, I'm digging it.
Faced with a single opponent, start by firing at them from a distance to apply the Riptide status. Then, enter melee stance and go in for the kill. Use fast and frequent attacks to trigger Riptide effects and deal immense damage. Against groups of enemies, build up energy in advance, and unleash an elemental burst in ranged stance to apply the Riptide status to the group. Then enter melee stance and attack the enemies affected by Riptide, hacking away at their health, while also restoring Tartaglia's energy. Wait for an opportune moment to unleash another elemental burst and take them all out in one go, bringing the battle to a clear-cut conclusion.
How long can you stay in melee stance? Zhongli. I have Zhongli. This is the first character that I have that we're actually watching the Miscellany for.
When it comes to Liyue's sacred traditions, the divinity is in the details. Even the most fastidious of academics don't claim to know them all. And yet, the mysterious funeral consultant, Zhongli, seems to know them like the back of his hand. The ancient rite of parting is a most unique tradition. Many details have been lost over time, but Zhongli is still able to perform the rite to perfection. Though he looks young, Zhongli knows each ancient tradition inside out.
Yeah, because he's old
but
as
his
shit.
own past is shrouded in mystery.
Every journey has its final day. Don't rush.
Dude, his voice is
Zhongli
badass.
excels at manipulating Geo, able to create and absorb Geo matter, and provide sturdy shields for his allies. This, paired with his exceptional ability in combat, makes him a reliable member of your party. Zhongli seems to know everything about everything.
You know,
even a simple...
Originally, when he was my first 4-star, other than the Traveler, or 5-star, and I used him as like my main DPS for the longest time. But then I got Yanfei and Yaimiko up, and now I just use him for the shield. It's kind of shitty, because like I love this character.
Chunk of white iron ore. He is able to pick out the best ore and use it to maximum effectiveness. When forging polearms, Zhongli recovers a set percentage of the ores used.
Huh. I didn't even know that.
Zhongli's normal attack can combo up to 6 strikes, dealing physical damage to enemies. Hold the attack button to consume a set amount of stamina and lunge forward, casting down stone spears across Zhongli's path, dealing significant physical damage to enemies. Tap Zhongli's elemental skill to summon the Geo energy from within the ground, and form a stone steel, dealing area of effect Geo damage to enemies. While the stone steel remains, it will periodically resonate with nearby Geo constructs, dealing continuous Geo damage to surrounding enemies.
Oh, I didn't know that you could chain them like that.
You can take advantage of this in battle. Draw enemies affected by other elements towards the stone steel, to both deal Geo damage and cause crystallize reactions. Use the elemental shield created by Crystallize to help your party survive. Stone steels can also be used to block enemy attacks, or climbed to traverse difficult terrain. Holding Zhongli's elemental skill causes Geo energy around him to explode, creating a Jade Shield and dealing area of effect Geo damage. The Jade Shield absorbs damage, The amount absorbed scales with Zhongli's max HP, and is higher against enemies' geo attacks. If Zhongli is surrounded by targets affected by geo, it will drain a large amount of geo energy from up to 2 of them. This effect does not deal damage, but can effectively break down enemies' geo armor and nearby ore deposits. After unlocking the talent Resonant Waves, when the Jade Shield takes damage, it will fortify your character, allowing their shield to absorb more damage.
He's such a good shield, man.
This is order.
Zhongli can bring a
Meatball.
huge meteor crashing down, dealing massive geo damage and applying petrification to enemies caught near the impact site. Petrified enemies become immobilized. After unlocking the talent Dominance of Earth, Planet Befall deals additional damage to enemies, which scales with Zhongli's max HP. Zhongli maintains his composure, even as he metes out punishment in battle. His exceptional ability to provide support and deal damage makes him quite prepared for any scenario. As the fight begins, first use Zhongli's elemental skill to summon a stone steel and draw enemies near it, creating the ideal environment for dealing damage. Next, create a Jade Shield to absorb incoming damage. Then, alternate normal and charged attacks, stringing together attacks to deal enormous damage. When energy is full, unleash an elemental burst and coordinate your party's attacks to wipe out the enemy. While Liyue Harbor grows restless on the eve of disaster.
That was okay. I mean, obviously it's not a good reaction for Zhongli because I have him. I know a lot about him. I did learn a couple things though. I didn't know that you could really chain the geo attacks and things like that. Still badass character. But let's check out
The city
Albedo.
of Pastorals, Mondstadt, is as free as the wind. Even an outsider like Albedo can become chief alchemist of the Knights of Favonius. But on the other hand, his mastery of alchemy means that no one ever would have taken much persuading. Mondstadt was never a nation known for its alchemy, but since Albedo's arrival, the Knights' achievements in the field sit only behind those of Sumeru's top scholars. Knights and academics. Not two words that one would expect to hear in the same sentence.
Alright, what do you got, Albedo?
Instead of leading the charge in combat, the calm and collected Albedo is better suited to providing support with reliable geo damage. Still, his skill set allows him to deal powerful attacks, meaning he more than holds his own on the battlefield.
Okay, support
Creation is
character.
the basis of alchemy. Albedo's knowledge allows him to find ways to improve crafting recipes and make better use of materials. When crafting weapon ascension materials, he has a chance of doubling the crafting output.
Nice. Okay.
Albedo's normal attack can combo up to 5 strikes with his sword. Holding the attack button consumes a certain amount of stamina and performs 2 swift forward slashes.
Doesn't look too special, nothing fancy.
Tap
Just
his
some-
elemental skill to create a solar isotoma using alchemy, dealing area of effect geo damage. A field is created around the solar isotoma. Periodically, when an enemy within the field takes damage, a transient blossom is generated at
Yo,
the enemy's location.
This is Full Metal Alchemist.
The transient
kind of
blossom
fucking
scales
character.
off Albedo's defense, dealing AoE geo damage to surrounding enemies.
That's
a
pretty
transient
cool.
blossom can only be generated once every 2 seconds. Additionally, making contact with the solar isotoma causes geo energy to accumulate, forming a crystallized platform that lifts the character up to a certain height. Only one platform can exist at a time.
What's the point in that, though?
Strategic use of the
Just to get up
crystallized
higher?
platform lets you employ plunging attacks in
And do
battle,
that?
and helps you deal with enemies up above. When adventuring, hold Albedo's elemental skill to choose the solar isotoma's position, and use the crystallized platform to get past environmental obstacles more quickly.
Man, okay.
After unlocking the
I wish there was more to it than that, other than just like, I don't know, maybe I'm being too picky, but I wish the flower did something more than just kind of lift you up, you know what I mean? And I know that there's benefits to being lifted high up, and you could do plunging attacks and traverse terrain and things like that, but I don't know. I don't know. It seems like there could be a better like a more utility for it, is what I meant to say.
Talent Calcite Might. Transient blossoms deal extra damage against enemies with low health.
Okay, nice.
Crystallized Geo-Energy bursts forth at Albedo's command, dealing AoE Geo damage in front of Albedo. If Albedo's solar isotoma is still present on the battlefield, 7 fatal blossoms are generated in the solar isotoma field, which bloom aggressively, dealing AoE Geo damage. After unlocking the talent Homuncular Nature, Albedo's elemental burst increases nearby party members' elemental mastery for a period of time.
Nice, okay.
Albedo's skill set is a rare and invaluable asset in combat. Creative use of the solar isotoma greatly diversifies the battle, paving the party's way to certain victory. When the battle begins, create a solar isotoma with Albedo's elemental skill. As he and fellow party members attack enemies inside the solar isotoma field, transient blossoms appear and deal damage to enemies, while generating crystalline shields through elemental reactions. Solar isotoma also enables party members to unleash plunging attacks. When energy is full, have Albedo unleash an elemental burst, giving the whole party a performance boost with increased elemental mastery.
He seems okay. I'm not saying, because, like, again, I'm fairly new to the game. I don't really know, right? And maybe he's really good meta-wise as a support character. Maybe he's, like, top-notch. I don't know. But just based on what I just saw, he just seems okay to me. And I could be wrong. He might put out massive numbers. He might be, like, the best support in the whole fucking game. Or, whatever it is you meta guys want to argue about. I just think he's okay. And I don't know that I would prefer for him to be on my party. I don't know, man. Okay, last one. It's Ganyu. I've trialed this character.
Given Liyue's present prosperity, it's only natural that the city's operational support should match its scale. For millennia, from the birth of the Liyue Qixing to its current roster of 7, they've all relied on the Yuehai Pavilion's secretary, the half-Qilin illuminated beast Ganyu, who assists the mortals in handling the most crucial matters. Although I detest deities, and have no liking for the Adepti who sign contracts with the Geo Archon, a person like Ganyu is still deserving of my respect.
My job is to honor my contract with Rex Lapis by looking out for the interests of all living things in Liyue.
It is said that when a Qilin is brought to fight, the sun will lose its light. Ganyu is a force to be reckoned with, an archer with an exceptional aptitude for aimed shots. Her mastery over cryo lends itself well to high-damage burst attacks, while her skills are of great help to her and her allies during combat. Through centuries of training, Ganyu's archery has reached the acme of perfection. She excels at not only using bows, but also making them. Though she no longer needs to fight on the front lines, she still knows bow and arrow like the back of her hand. While forging bow-type weapons, Ganyu recovers a set percentage of the ores used.
Nice, okay.
Her normal attack can combo up to 6 consecutive shots, dealing physical damage to enemies. Charging the attack executes a more precise shot that deals increased damage. Based on its charge time, the shot generates different effects. Charge level 1 fires off an icy arrow that deals cryo damage.
It's the
Charge level 2 fires off a frost flake arrow that deals cryo damage.
That's the
blooms
one.
After hitting its target, dealing AoE cryo damage.
Seems like that's what everybody uses it for, just the charged attack.
Frostflake Arrow's power is best used against distant groups of enemies to maximize its effect.
But it's like,
After unlocking...
From what I saw, it's so that second charge shot is just so strong. It just makes it worth to run her all the time.
Unlocking the talent Undivided Heart within a set period of time after shooting a Frostflake arrow. The next Frostflake arrow and its bloom will receive a crit rate bonus.
Oh, okay,
Tap
cool.
Ganyu's elemental skill to dash backward, leaving an Ice Lotus in her place that deals cryo damage and continuously taunts surrounding enemies, attracting
taunt,
them
okay.
to attack it.
That's cool.
When destroyed,
be useful.
or once its duration ends, it blooms profusely, dealing AoE cryo damage.
Okay.
Ice Lotus's endurance scales based on Ganyu's max HP. Dexterous use of Ice Lotus can effectively redirect enemy fire, creating a safe environment for Ganyu to dish out damage.
Yeah.
Blaze over!
It makes sense for an archer.
Ganyu coalesces atmospheric frost to summon a sacred cryo pearl. While it's active, the sacred cryo pearl will continuously rain down shards of ice upon enemies within a set area, dealing cryo damage. Celestial Shower deals damage while serving as a reliable source of cryo that allows Ganyu's allies to trigger corresponding elemental reactions and further increase their damage output. After unlocking the talent Harmony Between Heaven and Earth with Ganyu in your party, all active party members within Celestial Shower's AoE gain a cryo damage bonus.
Okay.
As an archer, Ganyu knows to keep her enemies at a safe distance and avoid close quarters combat. A constant barrage of Frostflake arrows is what makes her strengths truly shine, leading her to victory. Ganyu can use her elemental skill to get out of harm's way and taunt her opponents, allowing her to then fire Frostflake arrows unbothered, dealing damage to groups of enemies from afar. When her energy is full, Ganyu can unleash her elemental burst to further increase her ability to deal damage. When facing more formidable foes together with her allies, Ganyu's ability to taunt and infuse enemies with cryo is an effective form of support for the whole party that allows for defeating enemies in one fell swoop.
I don't know, man. Based on what I saw, it seems like everything about her can be utilized. Could be very useful, right? She's got the double charged attack, which just does massive amounts of damage. Her elemental skill creates a taunt. Okay, and then her elemental burst just freezes characters, increases further cryo damage, further cryo damage. I mean, she just seems like a badass to me. So like, props to Ganyu. I really want her. But that's gonna be it for this video. This is gonna be part 2. And make sure to smash that subscribe button. Join our Discord and catch my streams every Friday at 3 p.m. PST. I hope to see you guys there. I'll see you in the next one.